What's going on, guys? It's your boy the Markham Knight here. Today's video is going to be all about the Flash movie potentially erasing the Snyderverse. So there's a lot that came out over the last few days talking about this, and I kind of wanted to let it kind of settle a little bit for us to get a clearer picture of what's going on here. So let's jump right into the tweet that kind of sparked everything off in the first place, and then we can go from there and kind of pick it apart. So this actually came from someone who has been dropping a lot of leaks about Spider-Man No Way Home. He was right about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being in it and stuff like that, and he was right about a couple of the villains, so people give him some sense of credibility. His Twitter handle is My Time to Shine Hello, and I'm just gonna read his tweet word for word just so I don't get anything wrong here. He said, "I usually don't tweet about DC stuff, but I have a friend who watched The Flash and the movie will erase every movie Snyder has done. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League never happened now. Erased from continuity, Affleck and Cavill are both gone." Now let's just talk about that onto its own. That doesn't seem like that big a deal because anyone who's read Flashpoint, you know that that's what started the New 52 and it erased the history that the DC universe had prior to that. So I didn't think this was that much of a big deal. But then he did go on in a later post to say, Supergirl is now the main supes of Earth, Keaton is Batman, and Batgirl will become the new Batman after her film. And he said the movie ends with The Flash and Supergirl and Shazam forming a new Justice League. This is very big. And then we also got to see this backed up by Grace Randolph, who does have a lot of credibility considering she's had some interviews and stuff with Zack Snyder, and she's had some insiders be able to tell her stuff that was true. She also had some insiders tell her stuff that's not true. So it's not to say that her information is wrong, just maybe some of the people who are telling her the stuff might be wrong. But let's get right into what she said too. She said, "As I've told you, with updates, in The Flash, it's Affleck's final appearance, and it's old footage of Henry Cavill being used. So it's the last time we're going to see Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman," is what she's saying. She said the new Justice League is formed, Supergirl is the new Superman, and Keaton's working with Black Canary in the Batgirl movie, and they pick Batgirl as the new Batman. And she said, "This is the new DC, and let's be open-minded and give it a fair shot." And then a couple of days later, she did say maybe Robert Pattinson's Batman universe will get expanded and we'll get a new Superman there. There are a lot of possibilities. So let's kind of break this down if this information is true. So Flashpoint does change things. If you've read Flashpoint, the comic book, Flash changes something by, basically he saves his mom. This is a spoiler, obviously. He saves his mom, and then the future he goes to, the future he comes back to, he doesn't have any powers, and a lot of things got changed. I personally thought that's kind of where he's going to be, and that's going to be where he meets Sasha Calle's Supergirl, and that's where he's going to meet Michael Keaton's Batman. That's what I was personally thinking, and I thought that that universe, after he resets everything, would cease to exist, and they'd kind of do its own thing. So that's apparently not the case here. Apparently, Sasha Calle's Supergirl is going to continue on as Superman, and Michael Keaton's going to continue on as Batman until he picks Batgirl to be the new Batman to replace him with. So that obviously is not good news for any Superman fan, not good news for any Batman fan, and it's a very, very different look at the Justice League. Now, it is something to kind of think about here because Aquaman 2 does come right after this movie. This movie comes out in November, Aquaman 2 comes out in December, and Aquaman 2 is still starring Jason Momoa. So even if you got rid of Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman, why is Aquaman the same person? Why is it still Jason Momoa when those two are getting replaced? And then you also got Wonder Woman 3 coming out. I think it's in 2023 at some point or another. I don't think they've started filming yet, but it is supposed to come out either in 2023 or even 2024. It doesn't really matter, but it is coming out after this, and it's still starring Gal Gadot. So does that mean that Aquaman 1 is not going to be canon to Aquaman 2? And if that is kind of how they're doing that, and same with Wonder Woman, is Wonder Woman 1 in 1984 not going to be canon to Wonder Woman 3? Are they going to be going in a different direction? Or are they going to be able to continue those storylines separate from the Flash universe with Supergirl and Shazam and stuff like that? So let's get right into the next thing that was said here, and this was done by Andy Muschietti, and he's saying this, kind of referencing this whole situation. He said this movie is a bit of a hinge in the sense that it presents a story that implies a unified universe where all the cinematic iterations that we've seen before are valid. So he's basically saying everything here does exist. He says it's inclusive in the sense that it's saying all you've seen exists and everything you will see exists in the same unified multiverse, not universe. So these are basically different universes that are existing within the same multiverse. So Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, Jason Momoa's Aquaman still exists out there, just maybe not in the main continuity DCEU anymore. So like I said, that could still be its own thing, and it still exists separate from the new DCEU, which will feature Supergirl and Batgirl, apparently. And then Ezra Miller also kind of addressed this when a fan talked to him on Instagram. The fan said, fans are going crazy thinking this movie is erasing Zack's movies. What they don't see is the potential that this movie will bring. And then Ezra responded, no power or force in any known megaverse would or could ever erase Zack's mighty works. If you can take that quote, take it to the bank, press, schools, military, and any other pillar of capitalism that I'm forgetting, because of a thing that where you try to think of a group of things, you always forget one of them. So basically he's trying to kind of give it a little bit of a love letter, like what you've seen is not going to delete what you've seen is not going to be deleted. It's basically, it still existed. This is kind of something that is something new, but it doesn't mean that stuff didn't happen. That's not really saying anything. The Ezra Miller quote isn't really important here. I think more so the Angie Muschietti quote is very key here, because him saying that all this exists within the same multiverse means that Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman could still exist out there in a different universe, and maybe the Aquaman movie takes place in that universe with the Ben Affleck Batman and Cavill's Superman, and same with Wonder Woman 3. Maybe that exists in that universe, and maybe the new Justice League we're gonna get does have Flash and Supergirl and Shazam kind of doing their own thing. Now what's interesting is that Shazam's director said he had no idea what was going on here, said he doesn't even know what's going on in the Black Adam movie. And when he made the Shazam movie, he made it in the universe of Batman v Superman and stuff like that, and Justice League. So it's kind of interesting that they haven't really let him in on it. Maybe the Shazam movie is still taking place in that universe. Maybe what he's doing in the Shazam movie doesn't really matter to this kind of storyline and everything. Or maybe we can still get that universe kind of continued onto its own, and maybe all of this is kind of speculation based on seeing that Sasha Calle Supergirl and seeing that there is going to be a Batgirl and stuff like that, because that could be basically the Flashpoint universe that Flash goes back and changes. Maybe that universe goes on onto its own and that universe does its own thing, and we can kind of see stories from that universe in the Flashpoint universe that Flash goes to after he saves his mom. We can kind of see that do its own thing, maybe on HBO Max, because that's where the Batgirl movie is. I don't know if you're going to be able to replace Batman and Michael Keaton's Batman, who's going to be in the Flash movie. I don't think you're going to be able to replace him with Batgirl and just have that on HBO Max, and then just have her suddenly show up in a Justice League movie and have people know who she is and what she's going to be doing, because not everyone has HBO Max, and not everyone cares to go get HBO Max to watch a Batgirl movie. So like I said, this is going to be very interesting, whether or not we get to see Supergirl and Batgirl in the Justice League versus Superman and Batman, or whether that's going to kind of exist just in the Flashpoint universe. It's going to be really interesting to see, because like I said, Aquaman 2 comes out in December, and I don't think there's anything referring to this being a new universe and stuff like that in Aquaman 2, but Aquaman 1 didn't really reference the other movies that much, just said that they fought Steppenwolf. And then Wonder Woman 3 obviously had 2 movies building up to it, which did take place in that Snyderverse. So whether or not they're going to address that at all will be interesting. Black Adam, The Rock said for all he knew was in that same universe. So I don't know if that's going to have any effect, or if this is going to kind of erase that as well, considering that comes out in July. So I don't know if this is supposed to erase any of that, or if that's just pretending like it's taking place after the Flashpoint thing. So we don't know necessarily where in the timeline that takes place. And then Shazam 2 does come out next year, which did take place in the Snyderverse. So is that still going to be taking place in the same universe? Or is this just going to be a couple of different timelines going simultaneously? So what I want you guys to kind of take a look at here is going to be a little bit of a picture, and it's going to kind of say, so the Flash goes back in time, he creates the Flashpoint universe, and then the Snyderverse no longer exists, and then after he, I'm guessing, in the Flash movie, goes back and lets his mom die essentially to reset the universe. I think it's basically going to go back into a different direction, and that's going to be the new DCEU, and I think the Flashpoint universe will still kind of have its own trajectory, and that'll kind of be its own thing. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if that's going to be fact. I don't kind of know how it's going to go from there, but it'll be really interesting to see. Anyways, guys, you've kept up with this stuff. Obviously, it's a little bit confusing, but tell me what you think.
This is the Markham Knight, and I need you to like, comment, and subscribe.